Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel on this beautiful Mars Day, or at least it's Mars Day when I'm recording this, so I hope you had a very good Mars Day. If this day is already behind you, which I expect it will be by the time this video goes up, but I'm very excited to get this video up ASAP because I think it's going to be super relevant to the Venus retrograde that's coming. Obviously this is a time where exes reach out, so having today's topic be about exes I feel like is just very timely. I'm not at all surprised that Spirit asked me to channel these messages today, but I will get into a little bit more detail about exactly what we're doing in a moment when we finish setting up our beautiful tarot reading space, which it looks like I'm almost done. So without further ado, I'm not going to keep you here any longer. Let's get into a proper explanation of today's video and let's get into that pick your pile reading. Okay Wildings, let's get into today's video. Today we've been asked by Spirit to channel messages regarding who out of your exes potentially still has feelings for you, keeping in mind it might be more than one ex, and also are they likely to make moves based on their feelings. So we're going to find out who has feelings for you and what action they're likely to take, whether they're going to take no action or they're going to act on it in some way. I feel like I'm pretty excited to channel messages for this today because we are approaching a Venus retrograde on the 19th. So I would not be surprised if some of these exes do reach out when Venus goes retrograde on the 19th, I think until the 29th. I can't remember when it stops going retrograde. But yeah, it's a very well-timed reading at the very least, based on kind of what's going on astrologically right now. So we're going to use that astrology to do a tarot reading, find out how these energies might affect you either for this Venus retrograde or how it just might affect you in general. Like, I expect for some of you here that your ex may not necessarily make moves during this retrograde, especially if it's a more, I would say, divine counterpart connection, because sometimes backslides during retrogrades aren't necessarily for the higher good. Sometimes they're to like release things and let go of old patterns and blah, 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 blah. It really depends on your own chart and your own placements and what aspects are being made during this retrograde. So yeah, don't expect that this action has to happen in the retrograde, but I think for some people it will happen, and for some people it might happen either earlier or later, or you know, whatever. But I'll stop blabbing now because I'm sure you're all intuitive beings and can kind of take on board these messages and have a rough idea of how it might apply to you. But to get your messages, you're going to choose either pile 1, 2, or 3. Based on wherever your intuition is sending you, remembering it might be sending you to more than one pile because there might be more than one ex that has feelings for you, or potentially you might have some messages from more than one pile if you have kind of a combination of energies in your particular situation. So yeah, just heading wherever your intuition is guiding you. If you need a little bit more time, I'll add like a little extra freeze frame for you here to spend a little bit of extra time deciding, but wherever you end up, I will see you there very soon. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading for what exes might still have feelings for you and are they going to act on them. So if you chose this beautiful pink agate crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But let's first get some details about whoever this person is. We have details about who pile 1's ex might be. We have details about who pile 1's ex might be. Okay, so pile 1 It might be some or all of these. Hazel eyes, hooded eyes, domestic, heavy lidded eyes, kind, thin lips, straight eyebrows, charming, full lips. So it could be either or. This is collective general reading, so take what resonates. Neurotic, strawberry blonde hair, really tall, short hair, thick eyebrows, sensitive. Okay, if that sounds like an X, if there's an X immediately coming to mind, this is probably the pile for you. If no one's coming to mind, if you've never been with anyone with that description, you can always head to a different pile and see if you resonate with a different description. Or potentially, if you're sure you're in the right place, then maybe your particular person like fits the rest of this reading, but just not the description. And that's fine. Just check in with yourself, trust your gut. Could you please have some messages about pile one's ex in regards to these feelings that they might be having? We have some messages about pile one's ex in regards to these feelings that they might be having. Okay, so pile one, this ex that potentially still has feelings for you, is probably like highly intelligent. Mercury rules both the third house of communication and the sixth house of like lifestyle, routine, work, health, and it also rules Gemini energy. Which is all about kind of like opposing points of view, and then also Virgo energy, which is a very analytical, kind of critical kind of energy, but it's a criticism in terms of like what needs to shift in order to have my needs met kind of energy. So they're probably intelligent, they're probably very communicative. We do know they're probably fairly sensitive, and probably have decent intuition. They're probably reasonably connected to their emotions, either in a really positive way, or for some people I'm sensing that they might get derailed by their own feelings, like they might get blindsided by their own feelings and kind of have this conflict between mind and emotion sometimes, or at least when they're really triggered. And this person likely either right now is trying to figure out where they fit in life and their purpose, or they've just started embracing their life purpose and kind of coming into their own in some way. But we'll get a bit more specific. Using this traditional tarot. Spirit, could please have messages for pile one in regards to this ex that still has feelings for them and potentially what action they're going to take? Can we clarify this? clarify this Three of Wands energy, please. Let me clarify this King of Swords energy. One, it seems like this person has learned a lot since they ended things with you. They've definitely grieved this connection a lot, but they learnt a lot about themselves, and I'm sensing that they learnt a lot about particularly what they want to contribute to the world. I think they leveled up in a lot of ways, and it seems like based on all this learning, they feel like they're ready to turn the wheel in their favor. They're ready to make some sort of change and give this connection another go. I would say they're not ready just yet with this Two of Wands coming out in reverse. I don't think they're confident that they've learned enough when it comes to conflict resolution. Potentially they haven't been in other connections since the two of you ended things, and so the state of their conflict resolution skills might be the same as what they were when you guys parted, because essentially they haven't had any more practice, but it does seem like they want to collaborate with you. They definitely see you as a really good match for them, especially based on everything that you've taught them. And particularly what you taught them about wrestling their own ego. So the Strength card often refers to someone who's managing like fear and ego responses. So particularly fight, flight, freeze, fawn responses that come up when we're feeling really triggered, and being able to manage them, kind of reparenting the inner child as an adult kind of energy. So that's definitely something that your person learned from this experience of loving you and then things ending due to probably poor conflict resolution skills. This Six of Cups in reverse, this is a Sun in Scorpio energy, and this is about learning from the past, letting go of the past though, and living in the now. So it seems like that based on kind of what went down, this person's trying to let go of all of that. Particularly I'm getting that they're trying to let go of any self-criticism or self-judgment that they might still have, in order to kind of live in the now and embrace the now. It seems like this person still might have some fears when it comes to intimacy, and this may have been what was contributing to these poor conflict resolution skills the whole time. Like when we get into conflicts and we have really deep fears of intimacy, conflicts are very hard to resolve because we're not willing to get intimate with ourselves, and we're not really willing to get intimate with our partner. And that kind of exacerbates conflicts. Like that never minimizes conflicts. So yeah, that's definitely something that your person's trying to navigate right now, or this person I should say, they're not necessarily yours. Yeah, they're definitely trying to learn from the past and essentially show up differently, and they know one of their big kind of flaws is not being able to resolve conflict due to their own fears of intimacy. Probably during conflict, this person kind of loses their rational mind. Like they might be very rational when they're not in connection with people, and especially when they don't care that much about people, they might be able to be very intellectual and logical, but it seems like when they get into connection with someone who they really care about, the emotion gets the best of them. Definitely their fight, flight, freeze response mode gets the better of them. And they essentially start to behave really destructively in connection when they're in that place. But it seems like essentially they want to reconnect with you and show up differently and not be so afraid of emotion, because I think something that they didn't consider the first time around was that you're actually very intuitive and you're very forgiving and kind and calm when it comes to conflict. I'm sensing that this person probably exacerbated conflict kind of more than you, and they're realizing that they could probably trust you more than they realized, and as long as they're not kind of making it worse, they can probably make it work. They know they still have things to learn and that things aren't exactly the way they would like it to be in terms of the way they're showing up, but essentially they know that they can trust that you'll have their back, that you'll be able to offer them something that they can't. Like, as we were saying kind of earlier, I think this person gets hugely conflicted between head and emotion, whereas you're more consistent, nurturing, intuitive and calm when it comes to connection. I think it's probably important for you not to like abandon yourself. Like, that's a common side effect of this kind of energy, but I think like if you're committed to not self-abandoning and being this kind of calm energy while still acknowledging your own needs and emotions, you can definitely be very stabilizing for this person who still fears intimacy on some level, and this is probably why this person hasn't reached out thus far, because yeah, there's still this fear of intimacy that's kind of pulling them back from this connection. Okay, but they definitely see you as soulmates. This is heavy, like, Lovers card energy. They're definitely trying to learn from the past and not repeat their same mistakes. This camera also can mean looking at photos of you like fairly often as well. And it definitely seems like they want to either at least give you the opportunity to move on from this connection, or give themselves the opportunity to move on from this connection by essentially like at least giving it one more go. They don't think they'll move on unless they give it another go, because yeah, they definitely do see this eternal partnership, like union, completing each other kind of energy with you, and essentially they'll be kicking themselves if they don't reach out and give this connection another go. So yeah, that's definitely very important to them. And I think depending on how long you've been apart, like maybe they can are considering the fact that they haven't moved on, and they haven't been able to close this connection as a sign that you guys are like this heavy soulmates lovers energy. Okay, they definitely see you as beautiful. Okay, and they realize how like pure your energy is and how beautiful your energy is. I think they might have taken it for granted the first time around in this connection. Okay, their emotions are running high at this time. I think they're definitely conflicted between moving forward when they know that there's still some things that they're afraid of, and also moving forward when they feel like they're ready. I definitely feel like they're conflicted with those energies. But yeah, this new moon, a new start is coming energy. Like, I would say that they're going to make a move at some point. Like, I think it's very unlikely that this person's going to let this connection backslide. I feel like they're definitely going to want to do something. Okay, so our next article is protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. I feel like this might be about a dream, as in not a literal dream, but about manifesting. Like if your dream is to reunite with this person, whoever was described to you, hold on to that, hold it into your heart, and don't let it go unless you're ready to let it go, because this person isn't ready to let it go. So yeah, if it's what you want, like, hold on to your dream, because it seems like things are happening, things are shifting, and there's no reason why this dream can't manifest for you. Trust the divine timing of the universe. Compassion naturally flows from the heart of my inner being, and every day I grow stronger in mind, body, and spirit. I am strong and I am capable. I feel like this compassion will be important for you guys, since you are exes and there's probably history there. Know that you'll probably need to bring a lot of compassion to this situation when you guys reunite, because there'll be stuff still to clear, but know that you are more than capable of doing that work. So yeah, definitely trust in yourself. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile one. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. I hope you're entertained at the very least. But my name is Jade Rewilding. It's been a pleasure reading for you. And until we see each other again, I would love if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Ciao. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading for what ex is still in love with you and will they make moves towards you. So if you chose this beautiful purple moonstone, not purple moonstone, just plain moonstone, then this reading is probably for you. We're just going to start by asking Spirit for some details about this ex, so you know who we're talking about. If you don't recognize this person, maybe try another reading, or maybe this description just doesn't fit your person but the rest of the reading does. So just using your own intuition and discernment. But let's see who's still in love with you. This person has big eyes, dark skin, straight hair, or they straighten their hair. They're stocky. They have dimples or dimple. They're probably a good networker. Guide, prophet. This is someone who's really knowledgeable and a really good mentor for people, especially spiritually. They're also a student, so they probably have their own mentor, or they're studying to further along their career or something. They're probably successful in whatever way you determine success. Curvy, so if they're not stocky, they'll be fairly curvy. They might have a hourglass figure or a dad bod or something like that. They might be fairly disagreeable. They might like to go their own way a fair bit. Genius, yeah, they're pretty clever. Broad nose. Fair skin. Long hair. Okay, so we have lots of descriptions, and for some of them we had more than one. So just choosing the description that fit you, or potentially choosing a different pile if none of those descriptions felt like they were a person that you've been with or who has feelings for you. Remembering that potentially like the rest of the reading might resonate, even though the description was obviously not for you. It might just be for the rest of the general energies here. But to start off with, some of the energies that have come out is this Black Moon Lilith card. This is traditionally the kind of epitome of light and dark energy. It's particularly the light and dark feminine. So the dark feminine is said to be like kind of demonish in nature, and then the light feminine is obviously very like spiritual high consciousness energy, and the two together essentially create like a very witchy archetype where someone is powerful enough to alter reality. We also have Sun Spirit and Mars Force. These are both very traditionally yang energies. The more feminine energies are Moon and Venus energies. So they're very interesting. This often has to do with ego and personality. This obviously has to do with passion and drive, but also conflict and force. And then we also have Pluto, which is a heavy transformation energy, co-rules Scorpio 8th house energy with Mars, and this is all about deaths and rebirths. So very fitting that these would come up in an X reading, considering like death and rebirth is probably a very likely topic to come out of our tarot reading today. But yeah, let's get more specific with these energies using this traditional tarot. Messages for pile 2. I'm just going to take those and that. Any other messages for pile 2, please? Can we clarify this? Can we clarify this strength card, please? And this Two of Cups. Okay, pile 2, it seems like your person has this gut feeling that there was something deeper between you than potentially what they realized in this connection when you guys were actually together. It seems like since you've been apart, they haven't actually been all that happy, and they've definitely felt like they made moves that were out of alignment with them for them to essentially not be with you. They feel like being with you is much more aligned with them than not being with you. And so they definitely have this kind of gut feeling, and potentially even like dreams and synchronicities telling them that kind of the reason for their unhappiness is that they fell out of alignment with themselves by not trying hard enough in this connection at the very least. But most likely, given that the Two of Cups also came out, that they kind of let a good one go or let the right person go. This Page of Swords is a very kind of like naive, cognitive and communicative energy though. So I don't know if at this stage they're kind of fully understanding this mentally, or able to communicate this on the level that they're kind of starting to feel it on. So it's definitely entering their consciousness, but probably not in a way where they're yet able to communicate around it effectively. It seems like kind of one of the main things that's kind of prevented them probably in this connection, and since it ended, from moving forward to you in some way, to offer some sort of, I don't know, some sort of something. It seems like it's definitely an ego issue. I think they probably get very triggered by your intuition, I'm sensing, and maybe your calmness when it comes to this connection, because they probably feel very, very triggered by this connection. And they definitely feel their own kind of fight, flight, freeze, fawn responses activating in this connection. And yeah, it's definitely kind of takes all of their energy to rein in the beast within, and not be like super destructive, not be super forceful, and to kind of keep their ego in check a lot when it comes to like trying to meet and match your energy. But even though that this is challenging for them, for their ego, they've essentially not been able to let it go. Yet they haven't allowed this connection to really die. They haven't been able to leave it in the past. The World card often, when it's right way up, refers to someone who's learned all that needs to be learned, and is ready to move on to kind of the next level of lessons. But because this came out in reverse, clarified by these two energies, I would say that this person kind of didn't learn the lessons with you, and it probably had to do with managing the beast within, managing their own ego. Like that was an important part of the soul contract that the two of you had together. There was definitely, that was an element of it at least, which they kind of like didn't do the work, and they kind of ignored that. And so now they're kind of stuck because they haven't actually completed that lesson. And they haven't been able to complete it since you guys broke up. So I would say they're kind of aware that there's unfinished business here. And they essentially haven't been able to move on. I would say they haven't been able to kind of feel the same passion and energy for anyone else, because like there was kind of this lesson with you that they needed to lean into that they didn't. And because like on a higher level their soul was looking to learn that lesson, essentially no one else has kind of excited them in the same way, because they don't offer them the same opportunity for growth than what this connection with you did for them. But it seems like your person is probably envisioning the two of you back together at some point, with this Two of Cups energy coming out. This is heavy like twin flame, soulmate, or just like relationship energy. It traditionally represents partnerships and attraction, and two people coming together in some sort of like love bond. And this Nine of Pentacles, this is Venus in Virgo energy, and this is about essentially like building the best foundation possible for you to live your life from. It's a place where you really know what you deserve, and are living a life that you're really happy for, that you're grateful for, that you feel aligned with, that really like meets a lot of your needs, and yeah, just like excites and inspires you. And I would say that the life that they want to lead involves you. You're in it. Like this is you, this is the life they want to lead, connected. Yeah, they are definitely envisioning you guys coming back together. They definitely haven't been able to let it go, and it's mostly just like from an ego place that they haven't like been able to kind of act on this yet, even though they really know that this connection needs another start. It needs like a new phase. So your person's been thinking about talking to you. I wouldn't be surprised if they initiated reconnection by sending you some sort of message, maybe a text message. They might call you, or they might email you, depending on what they have you on. They'll definitely want to kind of restart things. I'm sensing from them that they'll probably want to go through the whole attraction, flirting, dating kind of phase again. But yeah, I think them like reaching out will probably feel really sudden, random. They'll have some sort of like shocking epiphany and then like just totally pivot on their plans, and it'll probably be very impulsive that they reach out to you. And so like I would say it'll happen when you least expect it as well. But yeah, they've been thinking about you a lot. They've been watching probably your socials and things like that. They definitely feel super heartbroken about this connection. I think they are worried about the snake within though. The snake usually represents some sort of enemy, but when it comes out with this Strength card, like often to me this is about the snake within. They definitely are worried about their own inner demons and being like triggered again and going through this whole thing again with you. I think they are definitely worried that it's going to go down the same path, and that's definitely not something that they want. They want it to go down a different path. So I think that's something that they're thinking about a lot, is like, how do I send this down a different trajectory? It's probably causing a lot of fear and anxiety for them, and they're probably afraid of that fear and anxiety and creating self-fulfilling prophecies, or like essentially the fear manifesting like the outcome that they don't want. So yeah, I'd say right now they're trying to visualize this positive outcome that they want, and make this the dominant vibration. Like, I don't think they want to reach out from a place of fear. Like, I think they want to reach out from like a higher place. And I think once they get to that higher place, that's when they'll kind of pivot and make a move. Yeah, it seems like they see you as an opportunity for exploring their own sovereignty and blossoming as a human. They know there's lots of lessons for the two of you to learn together, an opportunity for growth with you that they don't necessarily have with other people. The energy is definitely gaining momentum with this person, and this connection is gaining momentum. And yeah, it's very likely that it's about time for them to take some sort of action. So yeah, you just keep doing you though. It'll be important when they reach out that you're really honoring yourself and your own needs, and yeah, like definitely not in a place of self-betrayal in any way, because that definitely won't help the situation. So you do what you got to do to be ready and to be able to show up well. I would say this person's very motivated. And I would say that they've also refined their social circle. They're probably cutting off people and friendships that aren't serving them. They're definitely very motivated towards this growth and this kind of transformation energy. They want things to change. But the last affirmation that we have for you, pile 2, is I'm filled with creative energy and I'm ready to manifest. So if there's anything you can contribute to this connection, or you wish to contribute, know that you have the power to manifest what it is that you desire from this connection. It might help this person out because, yeah, I think they are kind of worried about what they're going to bring into fruition if they're the only manifester in this connection, for sure. So yeah, if there's something you would like to offer in terms of manifesting in this connection, by all means. Obviously, you can also manifest this connection closing, or do some like witchy stuff to close this connection if that's what you would prefer. But I'm going to leave that there, pile 2. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed today, or I hope you were entertained at the very least. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Rewilding, and I'll be on this page doing more intuitive tarot card readings like this. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to hang around for more readings like this. Until next time, ciao. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading for what ex is still in love with you, and are they gonna make some moves about it? So if you chose this beautiful crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But yeah, we're gonna start with grabbing some description items about them, so that you know that you're in the right place. But yeah, let's find out, what is this ex like who pile 3's, who's still in love with pile 3? What ex is still in love with pile 3, please? So we have hot-headed. If you have an ex who's hot-headed, they still in love with you. Really tall. Hot. Well, if they're going to be hot-headed, they may as well be hot. Bit of a loner. Visionary. Small eyes. Colored hair. someone who's quite sexual, who maybe has wavy hair, thick eyebrows, someone who's reserved, responsible, tanned, with brown hair, friendly, intelligent, maybe curvy, or at least not like super athletic, strong nose, hazel eyes, triangular face, witty, with freckles. Okay, if that sounds like someone who's been an ex of yours, they still in love with you, boo, but let's find out if they're gonna make moves about it. If that description didn't fit well for any of your exes for you, you can try another pile, or maybe this like reading will be right for you, but the description was just off. Maybe your energy differs from the collective in that way. We get some more about pile 3's ex. Are they gonna make moves? How do they feel? Pile 3, I'm sensing that karma's kicking this person's ass, especially what they're manifesting in terms of their career. They're not essentially being able to manifest as much because they let you go. They realized that they were kind of bypassing their own destiny by not acting on this connection, or not committing enough, or letting it fall apart, and potentially not communicating enough in this connection, especially about their thoughts and feelings, and potentially that leading to some sort of destruction or self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of manifestation in this connection. Know that karma's been kicking their ass ever since though, and it's basically this karma that's made them realize that this connection is part of their destiny, and it's also made them realize that if they want to achieve what it is that they're supposed to achieve in this life and in this world, they're gonna have to fix it, because karma's probably taking its toll on this person's career. They're probably not able to get ahead in some way. Can we have more about whether pile 3's person will make moves and what kind of moves they might make? Can we have more about pile 3's person? Oop. It's this way, I think. We have more about pile 3's person's moves. Okay, pile 3, all of these energies are definitely giving me the vibe that this person is going to make some big, romantic, bold gestures and movements forward towards you. Like, I don't think they're going to be subtle just based on how these cards came out. This Six of Swords is traditionally an action card. It usually has to do with either planning action or like communicating. So I would say that they'll come in with some sort of very bold communication, especially about how they feel about you. in this particular instance, this Knight of Cups is a very passionate, exuberant, romantic kind of energy. So I do think they're going to make some sort of like bold, grand gesture. And it does seem like they're definitely letting go of a lot of things in order to make these moves. As I was saying before, like this person's karma's been kicking their ass in terms of this 10th house of the world energy because they let you go. They haven't been able to manifest things in their career as well, kind of as karma for how they screwed you over. So they've definitely been overcoming lots of poverty consciousness and understanding that like them not being able to manifest what they want in their career is not like on them so much as it is on their behavior, and they totally have the power to rectify that behavior, which they're definitely planning on doing. They understand that they essentially can't manifest anything better, like any more abundant like lifestyle, until they make things right with you romantically. They understand that that's essentially the block in the road for them, and they're going to have to make some moves. It seems like potentially in the past this person could be quite controlling and critical of others, especially you in this connection, and they're definitely trying to let go of that need to kind of control the outcome and just put themselves out there and just like let the chips fall where they may. They're trying to come to terms with the fact that there's a lot of pain still in this connection, potentially. Like I'm sensing that the way you guys kind of left things might not have been in the best of place. There might have been some kind of rejection wounds and abandonment wounds that were activated between the two of you. And yeah, so there's definitely some stuff to overcome on both ends in regards to this connection. And yeah, so this person's trying to embrace the reality that you potentially could reject them. But I think that's maybe what's inspiring them into this kind of grand gesture, because like it's almost like this fear is like kind of making them more inclined to do something more grand and bold to make sure that it's very, very clear how much they care about you. They don't want anything to be kind of misconstrued or not clear, and they don't want anything to be not communicated well. They want their feelings and intentions to be communicated well, and they know that all of this kind of stuff from the past with you two could potentially warp your perception of their feelings and maybe make you interpret that they don't love you as much as they do. So yeah, they're very mindful of that, and that they're going to have to overcome some of this stuff, especially early. So even if they do make a big bold gesture, know that they're not ignoring any pain or stuff from the past of this connection. This bold gesture is more just about communicating their true feelings and making sure that that's super clear to you, because potentially they've not been super clear in the past. But they are aware that there's abandonment and rejection wounds that you guys will have to deal with at some point. Like this grand gesture isn't a way of avoiding that for them, although they might like to. Just as like a side note, they are aware that that will have to be dealt with as part of the karma of this connection, and the karma of trying to reunite this connection after a period of pain and separation. But let's get, yeah, they want to rebuild this. They want to fix this. This hammer's a heavy rebuilding, working on it kind of energy. This is a meeting and conversing and feeling uplifted card, and this is taking a chance and a risk, usually making bold moves. So I think this person will make bold moves, but if you would just like prefer to like chat over a cup of coffee first, that's fine. Know that the bold gestures that this person's planning is more about them trying to communicate how much they care, and just be really mindful about introducing that casual conversation just based on all the triggering that's happened in this connection, if that's what you would prefer. And just like also make sure that wanting to keep it casual isn't about you enabling yourself and you like avoiding fear. Yeah, so be mindful of that. Be mindful of trying to subdue this due to fear. Know that this connection definitely has a chance of a new phase, a transformation, a growth, and the two of you changing your minds and changing your behavior a lot. If there has been any karmic connections, expect them to fall away, because this person's definitely missing you, wants to be with you. So expect that to end if this person is in some sort of karmic connection right now. Can we get any more oracles for Pile? Yeah, there's going to be a change, especially if this person's in some sort of karmic relationship. There's definitely going to be a change. There's going to be a change in them at some point where they cross this kind of threshold of no return and they have to make moves. Do we have any more oracles, please? Okay. Yeah, I think when this person does make moves, it will be unexpected, and expect the feelings that you guys have for each other to come back in full force. It'll be very extreme. It'll be very intense. You might even find that this connection like almost rekindles instantly because of this intense attraction with each other and this intense polarity. So we have your commitment is being tested. I think this will refer to both of your energies very early on, based on all that like triggering that has happened. So definitely your commitment to each other will be tested a lot as you deal with a lot of this under the surface stuff that essentially came about because of the first manifestation of this connection. But no, you're very close to achieving your goal, which is this kind of like, you know, life together, or your person's goal at least. So yeah, once you get over kind of those initial hurdles, you'll have what you want in the end. If this is the connection that you choose, you don't necessarily obviously have to revisit this connection if you don't want to. There's obviously lots of stuff from this connection to deal with that you might prefer not to for whatever reason. But if this is the connection that you dream of, if this is what you want, it's important to protect those desires right now, especially from any interference, especially if there's a karmic relationship on either side. If this is what you want, protect those dreams, and you don't need to reveal anything to anyone who hasn't earned the right to hear it. So if you don't trust anyone in particular, don't loop them in. Okay, so your affirmation is, I welcome positive change and as an opportunity to expand my being. So this change feels like it will be positive in this connection, although it will be challenging. The challenge is there to expand your being. You'll align more with unconditional love by being able to work through some of your issues from the first time around, essentially, rather than letting this connection kind of go. Yeah, there's more opportunity to expand in trying to align with love with someone that you obviously cared about than there is in just like tossing them away. But yeah, it's still your choice, so know that you have that free will. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed, or I hope you were entertained at the very least. If you'd like to stick around for more readings like this, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. But until I see you next time, ciao.